and go to the Northwest Cabarrus webpage. If you have one that's about to die, you can always switch it out. Just make sure you put it in the right slot and plug it back in. So we can pick up your voices. Okay, everyone.
Miss Berg, can you think this class could help me?
Yes, yes. What's going on, Miss Mowry?
I have a very serious decision to make.
Okay.
Will y'all help me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the coolest thing. Miss Jacobs gave us cups for Counselor Week, and in it had fingernail polish for the week, and it's in panther colors. And I cannot decide if I should paint all of my nails the same color, or whether maybe I should leave one white on each hand, because I've got these really cool decals I could put on it, and I can't make a decision. And I just wondered if you had a way that we could make that decision.
I have some great decision-making tools. If you would like to go ahead and shake the magic 8-ball and see what it says.
Says my sources say no.
No, so I'm gonna do them all the same color then, because I think the 8-ball's gotta be right. don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I've been having a dilemma too. I love the Carolina Panthers, and I am just truly unsure whether or not I want Cam Newton to run the ball or pass the ball. Somebody help me with that? Will you help me? I'm sure you like football. You got a Panther shirt on. If you'll roll the dice, if it's a 5 or a 6, he's running the ball. So he's not. I want him to pass the ball. Okay. All right. I'm going to give everyone in here an option to tell me a dilemma that they might be going through that we need to help make a decision for. Kat, you must have one.
How many AP courses will I take?
How many AP courses she wants to take. So heads, she should take all AP courses. Tails, she should just take one. Heads. All right. So that was taking all AP courses. Whew. All right, she's gonna be up all night, right? Okay. So we just had some decision-making tools. And do you think this was a good way to make a decision? It was awful, wasn't it? Yeah. It was not good, but was it fun? Yeah, definitely. Excellent. Okay, so I'm Miss Berg, and you guys have gotten to know me just a little bit these past few weeks, and I'm excited to finally get to teach you guys something that's passionate and important to me, as well as something that we're piloting to see if, this would be something we'd like to give to all the 10th graders here at Northwest. So, as we move forward, I would like you all to fill out a pre-survey on the Student Services webpage. If you will some of you actually have it up. How perfect is that? Just click pre-survey and answer the 3 questions. If you don't have it up, you'll go to Northwest Cabarrus High School, click Academics, and then click Student Services. And on the bottom of the Student Services webpage, the webpage that has a picture of the counselors, you'll see a link to get to the survey. Keep going. And right there. Good job. And then pick the first survey. Good job. And you can leave this page up because later on we'll come back to do the post survey. Anybody having any trouble? Need my help? Oh, you guys are fast. Wow, thanks for the other group. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right, we're gonna share one more dilemma with you. And you all can tell me if you think, have you all heard of The Bachelor?
Yes.
Yeah? All right, get ready, hopefully the volume. Oh no, she turned the volume down, hang on. This one's good. All right.
You click the on button. Would you show her how to turn that button? I know how to do
City, you blow me away. You really do. I'd say this is the toughest thing I've ever had to do. I want to give you my heart so bad. But my heart's taking me somewhere else.
All right. If that isn't painful, I don't know what is, right? So, for those of you who don't know anything about The Bachelor, it's about a 6-week TV show. And they literally, actually it might last a little bit more than 6 weeks, but I think the filming of it is only 6 weeks. And in 6 weeks they go all over the world, wherever the Bachelor wants to take all these beautiful women. And by the end, he picks someone to marry. What are your thoughts on getting to know someone in 6 weeks and then proposing to them? Do you feel like that's a good amount of time to get to know someone?
No.
Is that a good decision? Now, do most of these people end up getting married?
No.
Right. So, it's definitely another method of decision making, probably not the best plan or tool in place. All right, so let's recap last year. We came into your freshman health and PE classes, and we wanted you to have a good understanding of how to be successful in high school. We talked about GPA, your grade point average. That is an average of all the courses you've taken while you're in high school, divided by the number of courses, those final grades, and that's what gives you your GPA. We talked about your transcript. Your transcript is like a report card of every course you've taken since 9th grade. Very important because you'll be using that for scholarship applications, college applications, even, for a career. You have to prove you graduated high school, and you want them to see that you did well. Credits. How many credits do you need to graduate? Go ahead. 27. You got it. Good job. Yes, 27 credits. And it's important to know how many you have to pass, right? And weighted versus unweighted. Does anybody have an example of weighted versus unweighted? Go ahead. So health and PE is not a weighted course. If you make an A, you'll just get 4 points for that class. But if you take AP Environmental, then you will get a total of 6 points for that class if you make an A in both, okay? And your ACT versus your SAT. Used to be the SAT was a lot different from the ACT, but you all are 10th graders, and you'll be taking the newly redesigned SAT, which is just like the PSAT that you took. So both of those tests are going to be measuring your knowledge, what you know, and you can use either test score for your admittance into college. All right? So when you were a freshman, we also wanted you to know what you should be doing to be successful. You should be communicating with your teachers. You should be making sure that if you don't understand something, you're staying after to get help. Homework completion. You want to make sure that you're getting everything done because that's going to help your grade and it's going to help you retain that knowledge so you can be successful. Surround yourself with positive friends. Come to school. Organization, whether you guys use your phones to keep up with your assignments or use an agenda, you want to make sure that you're using something. And be involved. Not just coming to school every day, but Be involved in sports, be involved in clubs, be involved in theater, anything that you're interested in, and take a leadership role if you can. And then make a plan. You're gonna be making decisions from here on out on so many important things for high school as well as life beyond high school. Wouldn't it be good to have a good understanding of decision making so that you can make good choices moving forward? For example, today you guys got your registration information. You're gonna have to be making some decisions in the next couple weeks. So you're gonna wanna be thinking about that, okay? All right, so our goals for today are to understand the 5-step decision-making model. I'm gonna teach that information to you, and then you guys are actually going to apply it. So we want you to utilize the 5-step decision-making model, we want you to evaluate it, and then we want you to go ahead and apply it, okay? Any questions so far? No? All right. Okay, so what is the 5-step decision-making model? We're gonna go ahead and have a scenario. Would anybody like to read the scenario to the class? All right, I'm gonna get high this time. Go ahead and read it. Everybody listen closely.
You're in the middle of the perfect storm. You just got a job and your boss needs you to start this weekend. It's already Thursday and you had planned to work on a research paper that is due in your English class on Monday. You've barely started, so getting that paper done is going to be nearly impossible, but you have to try because you're counting on that grade to help your GPA for college. You really need the money though because your parents are making you pay for part of your car insurance starting next month. You're seriously considering finding a paper online and turning it in. What do you do?
Do you think everybody can relate because it's English? And you want to make money, but on the flip side, you got to get that paper written, but you finally have this opportunity. So we're going to go through the decision-making model as a group. Number 1, what is a problem or issue dilemma? Go ahead.
Whether you should work or you should finish the paper.
Okay, so tell me 3 possible actions, 3 possible decisions you could make.
Well, like she said, you could like make the bad decision and look a paper up online.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I need somebody to come write these up on the board. Come on, sweetie. All right, go ahead and write number 1 and write. That way she doesn't forget what you said.
Wait, Mom, we said turn in the paper for online.
And then another one is you could just choose to work and help pay off your car and not get the grade for your GPA. And then the third one could be cram both of them in to stay up all night, don't get any sleep, just do as much as you can to get both done, because I know that's what a lot of high schoolers have to do.
Right. Cramming sounds very familiar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1, turn in the paper from online, which is plagiarism, right? Right. Okay, number 2, work and get the money. And then what's the outcome for that? Speak up.
Get a bad grade on
Get a
it.
bad grade, okay. And then 3, cram for both and just work really hard if it means staying up all night, right? So if we had more time, we would talk about the pros and the cons and list 3 for each. But let's just do a gist for each. So for number 1, we would turn the paper in online, but obviously the con is we're gonna get in trouble for plagiarism because more than likely your teacher's gonna check that. The pro is you, I'm not sure if there's many pros to this because you're probably gonna get a bad grade. You're just hoping your teacher's not gonna notice. But you got your paper turned in, right? All right, number 2, you're gonna work and you're gonna get the money, so that's the pro. You've got your money, you've got your job that you've been hoping to get, but the con is you're not gonna have that paper turned in and your GPA is gonna go down, right? And then number 3, you're going to somehow, a miracle's gonna happen. You're gonna stay up all night, you're gonna get both done, and you're gonna be able to work. So you have different choices, different pros and cons for these 3 different outcomes. So by show of hands, who thinks number 1 is the best decision? Number 2? Number 3? Everybody's gonna cram, okay. All right, so is the dilemma solved? The dilemma is solved, yes. And did it work? Hopefully it would work for that individual. But what needs to happen next? Looking forward for that person. Go ahead.
They need to plan in advance more.
Because typically, do you think the teacher only gave them a couple days to get the paper done? Probably not. Probably a couple weeks. They just probably procrastinated. All right, so does everybody have a clear understanding of steps 1 through 5? Okay, so what we're gonna do now, before we break into groups, I'm gonna kind of explain to you the process. Everybody's gonna get a dilemma, just like I gave you guys a dilemma as a group. You're gonna break into groups, we're gonna count off by 7s, and you can use your iPads to organize your thoughts. So you will go through the steps. I have them up on our Apple TV, but I also have them up right here on the board, so if for some reason you don't have them up on the Apple TV, you can always refer to the steps right here. Okay, is everybody present today? We're not missing anybody? Perfect, okay. So you have your iPads to use for your planning. You will have a total of 7 minutes. So I will give you warnings, but don't go over 7 minutes so we can keep moving through the lesson, okay? All right, I'm gonna start off here. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
7, 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
perfect. So groups 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
This one is titled The Best Friend. You and some friends from school are out on a Friday night. You've seen a movie and are now at a restaurant to get something to eat. The guy and the girl you like is hungry. Your best friend is also hungry and knows about your crush. You notice that your best friend seems to be flirting with your crush. You're getting angrier and angrier by the minute because he / she has done this.
You guys are doing a great job with your grade last night. You have 2 really close friends you don't have advice, but you can only ask one. Friend A is your
social studies first.
As it was. The next one is probably going to avoid.
Both right inside.
Ruin it on beginning and wait, a whole friendship. So I would just go like and decide and then the outcomes of that.
So remember, you're in a restaurant though. There's all these people, because you were at the movies and now you're at a restaurant at a table with all your friends. Would you feel comfortable pulling someone aside? Would you pull them aside in front of the group?
Obvious.
What's a good way that you could pull someone aside? Like, let's go to the bathroom.
Yeah, let's go to the bathroom or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we need 3 outcomes for this. That's
Oh,
what
no,
we
no,
do.
no.
Or 3.
3 actions and then pros and cons for each action.
That sounds like a solution. That's
Another thing you could do that might still make you uneasy is just sit out the night and just see what happens. And that might not turn out good, but if you don't feel comfortable pulling them aside, then you may have to do that.
Kind of remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
And what would you say?
It's like not the best one, like you could just call them out like right there, but that's like not what you want to do.
The only other thing you could do is say something maybe that they would understand but no one else would. Just kind of like make a comment.
I mean, there's
Like
nothing.
you really.
There really is,
Yeah,
but we gotta come up
you
with
could
one.
say-
We have to come up with at
I
least
mean, you could say
one.
that it was your little brother, but at that point, they probably wouldn't believe you.
Exactly. Well, and then on top of that, we have to pay.
Yeah. You'd be done.
are the pros and cons?
Well, the con of the last one is it can.
That's a good idea. An alternative.
Okay, what else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could. Absolutely. Yep. That could be another action. Excellent. So what are the pros and cons of not going to the school usually if you can't afford it?
If he does his father
We're so bad.
Like
But the pro is he would get into the school that he wants to go to.
Right. Right.
If he applied to a different school, then maybe he would get in. But maybe it's not as strong of an engineering school and the right program that he wants.
What action are you leaning towards?
Put yourself in my shoes.
I'll go to college.
Yeah, I mean, right.
You could just start working.
Yeah, make some money to then apply. Perfect. There's another action, you guys. Yeah. I like that. Very good. You found a way to still get into the school of his choice, just not at the time that you would have liked. So make sure you list your pros and cons, and then pick which one you like best.
Everybody knows that every.
See which one.
And you stand up for your friend.
Okay, so what are your possible actions?
You have take the CDs without paying, take the CDs and just pay for them or not use them at all.
Okay. Which one are you leaning towards? Take the CDs. What are the pros and cons of that?
Get a comment.
I mean, yeah, so.
There you go. I like that. That's creative.
It could be put back on you.
Yeah.
Or
I want to see your friend not have the intention of spending the money.
Right. Right. How about you?
To not get the CDs. I
Okay.
mean,
Awesome. All right. Keep working.
now.
The one about your I have I give you a friend again. Keep your possible
What are your three possible
I don't know, if you could combine
I said getting a job,
Well,
still
if you
not
can
have,
run fast
asking for help, borrowing money, or not paying at all.
That's good. Which one are you leaning towards?
I'm really getting a job or like asking for help.
Well, it depends, but that guy's like.
For all the first one, so you
can
can
log
log
on.
on, and then
Teachers
for
close
the,
by.
Yeah, so the last one,
healthy, it's like,
empty something.
Right. Right.
I thought it was
That's a good dilemma.
Ankle swing.
Which one are you leaning towards?
Getting a job because if you do, you can help with your mom and to if your friend.
It's the
Sounds like
dilemma.
that one has a good outcome all around. Yeah. You can't always have your timeline, but it's gonna happen.
that's how you better.
Okay. Good job.
We were pulling sleds outside.
about the friend in the beach.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So what are your three possible actions?
You could either take one friend, or you could take the new friend, or you could just go with your family and take no friend.
Take no friends. Okay. So which one are you leaning towards?
We lean towards taking either, because it's kind of a safe ground.
Yeah. Safety first, right? Okay. Are you feeling that?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
I actually came up with it.
Good. Good. So have you any of you ever been in a situation like that?
No.
No. Where you, that would be a sticky situation to be in. Yeah. All right. Keep working. We're gonna watch. See what that looks
I need
Go after the brother.
like that.
covered up or apologize.
Okay.
That will.
Alright.
To the point.
Okay. Okay, we have 30 seconds left. Okay, step 2. Everybody's gonna stay in their groups, but now I want you as a group to create a visual of what you just processed through, showing the decision-making model. So you have options. You could do a skit and don't actually have to create anything, but work within your group to create a skit. You could make like a flow chart or a thinking map. You know how all your teachers have them up on the walls? And I have a few examples on the screen to kind of show the decision-making process for your dilemma. You could create a cartoon or just draw a picture within your group. So utilize your resources within your group, the skills you have within your group, each person, and then we have a bunch of different supplies over here. So go ahead.
You wanna do a chart? I figured y'all go that way. Let's do a skit. This is the decision-making process.
Okay, steps 1 through 5, guys.
Step 1.
We each draw our own scenario and then we show the one from each draw together. The main two scenarios is just really getting a job, stealing, or just asking help. So I'll draw the one of stealing.
You're probably good at art.
There's a big motion board too over there if you need it.
This is our problem. These are the solutions, pros and cons, and then what we chose.
You have a total of 10 minutes.
Write something.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we have like a, like, the decision that we chose, like a light bubble, like, or you can do it like this.
I don't care, just go.
Okay, so this is like,
I got this one right here. That's fine.
Sarah, what did you say again?
Oh, that's when, first
Oh, that one.
draw that. basic,
Because
well,
our clerk has to give a check at a restaurant.
No, yeah, we could make these boxes.
Then we had leave your friends and see how it plays out.
I have some.
It's however you guys want to visualize it.
Leave it alone and see how it plays out.
And then we have to call your friend up. Or.
But you would.
really good at that.
So I don't.
So the first
Right, when you pause the scene.
I love the first one.
That's not. It's like a speed bump. Yeah, like that's the cloud. Silly goose.
Call your friends too.
Wait, let me see the tingle.
So while I have this, now what was the purpose of this? You don't pause the video. Yeah.
Which one are we going with?
Yeah, the three options. So if you could apply to a different school. Well, that's take.
What is it?
That's a big one. I
That would do the illegal thing.
What's the check?
Well, that's the.
You spelled the wrong dude. Come on.
Make that like an arrow. So then they're going to.
That's a good arrow.
Looks like a check mark. Now it looks like.
Check.
Is it a check arrow? Nice.
There we go.
Looks like what?
Very symbolic.
Wait, no.
Okay, so.
No, get a job
We're
and
gonna
wait.
explain this. Two people are fighting. They're gonna fight. The people, the purple people are telling them to fight. And this guy's like, oh, what should I do? And then he goes and tells the teacher, and that's the right decision. And then they go and break up the fight.
You think the fight problem?
Oh my gosh, we can pause the scene and
No,
they'll
you
come
couldn't.
over and like you'll be like, oh my gosh, what are
Do
you
you
doing? I'm your
want to
conscience.
draw?
You can do
Oh,
it.
I was thinking of drawing on the back since we have time.
Instead of like instead of saying.
I could draw the other two.
Okay, like split it.
Yeah.
And you could just be paused.
What are the other two?
Chatting with the
I'm just standing there like.
Or,
Okay, yeah.
when he's trying to break it up for just not fighting, he has a black eye.
Check. Jordan. Should I name the place?
Does this look like Con.
Don't have a friend.
So do you want to get your and then 4 down to the center.
Just go like a ram.
random piece of tape on the phone.
Just because you don't like it?
Yeah, it's because we can. Okay. Might as well.
I would say like do the same thing, but don't do the middle one for these. So down and then split them, each one of them.
Or you could just do like two, like, of you.
Just like that?
Yeah.
2 minutes.
And then,
You just have to jerk like Well, if we only choose one, do we only want to bring one to the bottom, or do we want to?
I think we should just leave it how it is.
Yeah, that makes
Just
sense.
because I don't want to like mess up the You just need to erase.
I think Mark has long hair.
You could have purple eyebrows. Totally wrong.
This is my interpretation of Mark.
oh, wow, that's a lot of hair.
I saw him as kind of like a rebel.
What is that?
I don't know.
That's his hair, it goes down.
Alright.
Oh, I thought it was like sideburns. I was like, those are really long and thick sideburns.
Then it's not good to small markers.
She's standing. She's like standing this whole time.
Yeah, I would be like this.
The red and pink color look the same. She got a different color.
Okay, everyone, let's go ahead and reconvene. I'm going to let each group have an opportunity to share with the class the dilemma that you all had to process through and share your visual as well as your decision that you made. And I'll let group one go first. Do you want to read the problem? If you'll speak loudly so everyone can hear.
Alright. Our scenario is titled The Best Friend. You and some friends from school are out on a Friday night. You've seen a movie and are now at a restaurant getting something to eat. The guy/girl that you like is in the group. Your best friend, also in the group, knows about your crush. You notice that your best friend seems to be flirting with your crush, and you are getting angrier by the minute because he/she has done this to you before. What do you do?
So, we made kind of like a flowchart type thing, with our problem here, and then our three like possible solutions were pull them aside and explain yourself, leave it alone and see how it plays out, and call your friend out at the table. And we put down our pros and cons for all of those, and we came to a conclusion that the first one of pulling them aside to explain yourself was the best thing you could do.
And if you'll share with the group why.
Just because it can, like the other cons, like were just basically that the problem would continue, and if you pull them aside and stop the problem from the beginning, then it won't carry on and everything can just be solved.
Excellent job utilizing this. Excellent. All right, group two.
Okay. So ours was the big mistake. Your boyfriend or girlfriend texted you something really personal last night. He or she asked you to delete it from your phone, but you didn't get to do it right away because your mom was screaming at you to come downstairs for dinner. While you were cleaning up the dinner dishes, your little brother found your phone and forwarded the text to 6 people in your contacts, including your ex, who your boyfriend or girlfriend hates. What do you do?
So basically we realized the problem was the fact that you sent the personal message to those 6 people, and then we couldn't really come up with solutions because at that point you're sort of in too deep. So we said, go after your little brother because that takes the blame off of you, but it doesn't really help you. That's the sort of con. It doesn't really fix the situation. And then we said apologize, and it might fix the situation, but it probably wouldn't work. And then cover it up might help the situation, but it probably still wouldn't work. So we figured going after your little brother would be the best option, and then we drew a picture of that.
And why do you think that is the best decision?
Because there's not really any other solution, and if you could put all the blame on your brother, then you might be forgiven.
Let's see your visual if you'll hold it up for everyone.
We have the message right there, and then we have the brother sending it, and then we have the brother beating up the little guy.
Okay. Interesting decision. Group 3.
Alright, ours is family weekend. Your parents have planned a great weekend at the beach and told you to invite a friend to go along. They're going to cover all of your friends' expenses as a gift to you for doing such a great job with your grades last semester. You have 2 really close friends you want to invite, but you can only ask one of them. Friend A is your oldest friend, but you've had some trouble connecting lately and things don't feel like they used to. Friend B is a newer friend who just moved into your school, and you have so much in common. You always have a blast with him/her. What do you do?
Okay, so we decided to take, our 3 things were either to take an old friend, to take a new friend, or take neither friend. And we chose that to take neither friend because it solves things, because you're not choosing one over the other and you're not like playing like favoritism.
Sounds like you guys made the safe choice. Awesome, good job. Good job applying it. All right, group 4.
Our scenario was called "It's Better to Give Than Receive," and it said, your mom lost her job recently and she's a single parent. It's really hard at home right now. Money is so tight and you're really worried about your family. To top it all off, your best friend's Sweet 16 party is next weekend. You want to give him/her a cool gift, but you have no money. You notice a brand new iPad in case in the cafeteria before first period. It's not on camera, so you consider picking it up. You wonder if you could sell the money and sell it and use the money to help your mom and get a gift for your friend. What do you do? Now here we have 3 choices. We can either work for the money, do nothing, and have unsatisfied mom and friend, or steal. And what would happen with each one is, as I said, nothing would happen and you really haven't done anything. You're not really much useful to your friend or your mom. If you work, you'll be able to get money in the long run, which won't be there in time next weekend for your friend's Sweet 16, but you can eventually give the gift to them anyways. And if you stole, that'd be dirty money, which is you also might be too as well, and you've lost most of your moral value right there. We chose the best situation would be to work, because you help out your mom greatly by that, while she can look out for a job for herself, and you can eventually give your friend that gift, as well as maintaining moral value.
You could put an IOU in the card.
Yeah.
All right, good problem solving, excellent. All right, group 5.
Okay, ours is the big C. You're about to walk into the locker room after PE class. You hear a group of people starting to gather around a couple of peers who are having a heated discussion. You step closer and realize that one of the people is a kid from your social studies class who helped you on a project last week. He/she seems to be angry at the other student for something that happened in class. Things seem to be escalating to the point where things might get violent. Everyone is watching and encouraging them to fight. What do you do?
Okay, so our options were the first one that you could either join the crowd and start saying to get the fight going on, but for that you could get in trouble for not doing anything, and the pro would be that you went with the crowd, so you basically went with peer pressure. And the other option is that you could get in the middle of the fight and try to stop it, but then the con would be that you could get hurt, and the pro would be that you try to help your friend. And then the last option, which was the right option, was to go tell a teacher, because we know that the locker rooms are near and there's always a teacher there, and you could help the situation and not get in trouble. But the con was that some people would call you a snitch, but it's more important to help. So, there you go.
Okay, so that's your final decision. All right, group 6. Or group 7, right? Or no, 6, yeah.
Okay, scenario 7. Mark was sure that he wanted to become an engineer. He was really studying hard so that he could get an admission in the best university. He studied hard, but somehow he couldn't score that well. He was very upset. After a few days, Mark met one of his friends who told him that if he gives him some money, he can arrange for an admission. Of course, Mark didn't have any money, and he could not ask his father for it, as it wasn't legal. The next day, Mark's father gave him some money to deposit in the bank. Mark thought that with this money, he could easily get an admission in the best college, and his career will be all set. What do you do?
So we drew a comic of Mark. His three options were apply to a different school, get a job, and apply again next year, or do the legal thing. And we think that Mark should get a job and apply again next year. That way he's not disobeying his father. He can earn the money honestly and not get in trouble.
All right, that's a great decision. Good job. And our last group.
Okay, so the last scenario is a close friend gets a job as assistant manager of a record store. You visit her and she gives you 3 CDs saying the owner is really a jerk and the inventory system is so bad. Here, they never know what they have in stock. Even my manager takes stuff home. You can have the CDs if you want. What do you do?
Skip.
Woohoo! All right. Come on up.
Okay. Hey, we're out. Hey, I have these CDs that you can have. My owner won't care. They take the stuff off home all the time. On your conscience. You have a couple decisions you can make. A, take the CDs without paying. What the pros and cons of that be?
Well, if I take the CD, obviously I have the CD, but I could get in trouble, and I don't want to do that.
B, you could take the CDs, but pay for them.
Well, I wouldn't have the CDs, but I'm gonna have to pay. And, you know, I wasn't planning on spending that money. Why should I do that?
You could also not take the CDs.
Well, I wouldn't have a CD, but I would still have my money. And you know, the CD could always go on sale. You know, I don't think I'm gonna take the CDs.
Woohoo! Good job. That was an excellent job applying the decision-making model. Good job. Okay, so while you guys have had this opportunity to work as an entire class as we went through the first scenario, and now you guys had a chance to apply it individually as groups, now I want to evaluate the pros and cons of using the decision-making model, understanding it, as well as are you guys ready to apply it individually? So I need one volunteer from this side. You want to get up? Okay, come on. And then one from this side. Come on. All right, so you're going to be the pros, and you guys are going to be the cons, and you're going to list on the board pros here, cons here, and you're in charge of this side, and you're in charge of this side. You guys have 2 minutes to give them as many pros and cons about the decision-making model as possible, and you can look at those questions as well.
There are no pros to like bad decisions.
It helps you decide.
Yeah. Some bad decisions, there's just no good.
Yeah. Takes longer than going to get.
You evaluate the way you think.
Always pros.
Sometimes you have to make a decision quickly.
And you don't have time to look around.
It's always a logical decision.
Yeah, it's a logical decision.
Yeah.
Big logical.
I don't know, something with logic.
Isabel,
Yeah.
you're less likely to make a bad decision if you like sat there and thought about it.
You're what? Less likely
Less likely to make.
Yeah, if you like think about it.
Me too.
I don't like it. It's really bad.
Can be confusing. Or inefficient.
Not everybody knows this 5 steps.
That is not likely. That's not makes it likely.
That's how you spell it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not LEY.
You listed out all of your options.
You totally see this.
It can't apply to every situation.
You guys did good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys sit down and read back to the class. For the pros, it helps you decide. It helps you evaluate your thinking. I think a lot of times it's easy for us to make quick decisions. And if we step back and think, oh, wait a minute, I learned that 5-step decision-making model, and add a couple minutes to your thinking, you might actually process it a little bit better and eventually make a more thought-out decision that could benefit you in the long run. It's more logical, excellent, less likely to make a bad decision, and by listing it out, you are truly looking at all your options. And it helps you figure out what's most important to you. Good job. All right, for cons, there's not always pros and cons to everything. I think in some of our scenarios, it's very evident that like taking your dad's money is probably just not a good decision all the way around. What pros can you find from that besides, you know, getting into the college of your choice? Your dad's probably never going to forget that, right? So you have to think some of these decisions, there's just no really good decision, some of the decisions that you can think of. Sometimes you have to make a quick decision, right? You don't have 5-10 minutes to process through. But it can be confusing, so a lot of times when things are confusing, what is one of the things you can do to help it no longer be confusing?
You can use it more often and like get familiar with it.
Repetition. Just constantly practicing. Kind of like when you're sitting in class and maybe you're not understanding an assignment in math or how to use a specific formula. If you practice it, there's a good chance you're going to use it more often and get those type of answers and questions correct. Not everyone knows the 5-step decision-making model. Exactly. And sometimes not every situation has a good multiple outcomes. So you really only have one and you just have to do the right thing. So good job on the pros and cons. All right, so now we want to apply the 5-step decision-making model individually. We have graphic organizers for everyone, and all I ask is you put your name on the top of the page, and you are going to apply your own personal dilemma to this graphic organizer. So we're going to make sure you truly understand how to apply the decision-making model. I'm going to give you an example. A possible dilemma that you all may be experiencing right now. You are welcome to use it. You don't have to, but you are welcome to use it. May be struggling with, and you're welcome to use it if you would like to. Yesterday, you all got your registration packets. We are planning for your junior year, one of the most important years of high school, especially because you all know that colleges will be looking at your grades. Do you go into Honors English 3, or do you go into AP English Language? What path do you want to take? This is a dilemma that many of you may be struggling with. Some of you may already know I'm going into AP English Language or I'm going straight into Honors English 3, no questions asked, and you might like to use a different dilemma. But if you would like to use that dilemma, you can, and you have 5 minutes to work through the decision-making model. has any questions, feel free to ask and I'll come over.
So that will take up, like, say, the first period, for example. And you're gonna get your math in. What math do you want?
AP stats.
Okay, so you'll have AP stats.
But that's just a semester, right?
Right. I'm trying to think about science. Okay, so we have a semester, so we have first and second grade taken. For English.
Probably Spanish 3.
Okay, so I have a block, so now we still have 3 blocks left. What did you say for science, remind me?
AP.
Okay.
And then well, because the
health science electives, right?
I was gonna do biomed too.
You have 2 spots open.
But I was gonna wait until, because I'm taking chemistry this semester and Spanish 2 this semester.
Okay.
So if those went well, then I was gonna sign up for Spanish 3 or AP Chem. And then
So
senior
an
year.
AP Chem will take you long, so right there, you gotta
But I was gonna do that.
Have you done honors anatomy and physiology? You can do that online through NCPS, and it's another good focus. And if you've done health science 1, it's a lot like health science 1 because you're going to med health spots. Okay.
But yeah, so would I have to make an appointment with you to
That would be
look
a
at
part
the
of
NCVPS?
You can go online to ncpps.org and look in the course catalog, and just see what they offer and plan for next year, and when you have your registration appointment, you can just tell me and we'll put you on the list. Yeah.
Because senior year I was gonna save like biology or
Oh,
CCC instead
yeah.
of doing AP that
Yeah.
year and then doing the algebra part of pre-cal or CCC. So I would have a couple classes there and like over the summer doing like an English or something like that.
So if you do that, if you all do that your senior year, your junior year, you can go and do, honors anatomy. No, just NCPS, so actually, yeah.
Any questions? Everybody pretty processed through it? Would anybody like to share their 5-step decision-making model with the class and their dilemma? Anybody? How about Mr. Silver? Will you share?
I can't decide whether I want to take AP Human Geography and drop either band of Spanish or stick with band of Spanish and not take AP Human Geography. The possible actions is that I could take AP Human Geography and not band in Spanish, or not band or Spanish, or I could stick with band in Spanish and not take AP Human Geography, or I could try to figure out a way to take both.
Okay.
The pros of taking AP Human Geography is that I get to take a class that I'm interested in, and it's another AP credit. But the cons are that I would have to drop either band or Spanish, and I don't want to do that. If I stuck with Spanish and band, I could stick with the classes I already know that I like. But a con is that I could lose a possible AP class that I would like to take. If I found a way to do all 3, I could get to take all 3 classes that I'm interested in. But I would probably just drop another class that
Are you, just to give you an idea, are you someone who's limiting yourself to 4 classes, or would you be willing to take 5 in a semester? If it meant one was without a live teacher? Or would that be too much? It's okay if it's too much, just say so.
I don't think.
You don't think that's an option? Okay,
No,
I just
no,
wanted to.
I think that could be.
It could be
I
an
didn't know
option.
that wasn't-
We could work with you on potentially finding you an online AP Human Geography. But it's a lot of work, so it'd be something you would wanna weigh the pros and cons on as well, okay? So think about that. All right, anyone else wanna share? Are we ready to move on? All right, okay, good job, guys. looks like you guys have a clear understanding of how to apply the decision-making model. Okay, so this is our last part of the lesson. I just want to make sure that everybody has a clear understanding. We listed the pros and the cons. You guys did a great job talking about the differences within the decision-making model. What was it like following the decision-making model? If you'll just shout out and share with everyone. Go ahead, Kat.
It was really fun. It made me actually think more. I didn't realize there were so many pros and cons to the decisions that you could take.
To a dilemma?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What about over here? Go ahead.
You break it down and find out more about what choices you have and what it'll do along the way.
Right, breaking it down. Michelle.
It like gave me assurance that there was a solution to a problem, and not you don't all the time have that whenever you know there's an issue.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Good job. Go ahead.
It was nice to organize my thoughts so that I wouldn't write them down on paper instead of having them all jumbled up in my head.
Yes, it's almost like, you know how you make an outline for a paper, but instead you made an outline for your decision. And you were able to make a really good decision because of it. Like you make a really good paper when you have an outline instead of just throwing it together, right? Good job. All right. Okay, so what did you like the most about it? Go ahead.
It was more organized.
More organized, so organization. Anything else? Go ahead.
It just kind of like laid all my options out,
Mhm.
so I could see them on paper and just
Mhm.
kind of like, okay, well, if I just kind of do what everyone else is doing, like, yeah, I'll have friends in the class, but is it really what's going to help me in the long run?
Right.
Just being able to like see.
Focus on what you needed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, and then what parts were the most challenging? It's okay, be honest with me. I definitely want your feedback. Go ahead.
Trying to choose one of the three options.
Yeah, that's hard. Mhm. Having the best possible decision with the least ramification of of the pros and cons. Never mind. Never mind. Okay.
Thinking of what could go, like the things you can't control that are out of your control. That if
Yes.
you to make a decision, what if something happens?
Yeah.
It's a bad decision.
You got to really think about that because you don't always think that through. Right. Any other cons? Just not so, any more just pieces about being challenging? I personally think it's that time factor. Am I disciplined enough to sit down and really process through something? I am the world's worst at gotta get it done now, and then later on, oh gosh, I forgot to do so-and-so. That is just me. It's my personality. So to train myself to use this decision-making model would be a really big growth experience for myself. I'm just being honest. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for participating. If you'll open your iPads back up, we have a post survey in the same place that we had the pre-survey. If you'll just take a minute to fill it out, and then when you're done, you can plug your iPads back in. If you'll make sure they're the right number. So just a reminder, this survey is critical because we are piloting this program and we want to make sure that this decision-making model is something you think that all 10th graders should learn and be able to apply to their own personal lives and dilemmas. So thank you for your feedback.
Don't put it in something else because
And then do I have to drop
Yeah.
Okay, so just pick two and like random.
Yes.
Can I pick like health science 1 and 2 and just say like drop
Deanna's not done yet. So she said perfect.
Here we have. And I was wondering when, like, is it time to sign up to talk to counselors about, like,
Your classes, we are actually going to be meeting with you individually in the next few weeks, starting on Monday. Yes. All right, good question. It'll be posted in the cafeteria probably tomorrow. Thank you.